Today, Jasmina and I will be talking about mistakes couples make when traveling. We've been traveling together for several years now, and we thought we'd share with you the lessons we learned from our mistakes or just things in general so you won't have to. As always, we'd appreciate it if you take the second to like this video and consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't done so yet. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video.
The first one is not including your partner in the planning process. This is a huge mistake couples make when traveling. A lot of times one person does all the planning and the other person just shows up. And while that might seem easier at first, it usually leads to frustration between the two. The person who didn't plan anything feels left out, and the person who did all the planning feels completely overwhelmed and unappreciated. It also creates mismatched expectations. Example, one person thinks it's a relaxed vacation while the other plans something crazy with activities and all of that. There's nothing wrong with one being more of a planner and the other being more relaxed about it because, for example, RJ is more of a planner, but he never just does things without telling me or not including me. We always plan together, and plus I trust his judgment, so nothing wrong with that. Including your partner doesn't mean everything has to be perfectly split. It just means both people have to have a say in choosing the destination, agreeing on the budget, or each picking a couple of things that they're really excited to see.
The second one is not checking visa or entry requirements. It's a mistake that can completely ruin a trip before it actually even starts. And our plan of going to Vietnam today
is cancelled.
Okay. We don't want to sound dramatic.
Because you're Canadian.
For Canadians, we have to apply for a visa, and for Europeans, they can just walk right into the country for 45 days and it's all good.
Yeah.
The problem is I applied for the visa last week and it's the weekend.
Yeah.
And we planned this you know, we wanted to go to Vietnam today, but now we are stuck here. Story time, okay? We were heading to Vietnam, and Vietnam is a country I've been to twice at this point, and we were in Laos. Yeah, we were in Laos, and it was the holidays, okay? I did not know that the Vietnam
visa application process for the visa.
Yeah,
it wasn't running that time.
It wasn't running that time. Like I don't know if it was it the embassy? I don't know. It was like a government thing. They were just completely shut down. So before this event took place with Vietnam visa, you had to fill up a form online and you have to pay for it online as well. So I got all of that done.
For Canadians. I'm not Canadian.
Yeah, for Europeans, they can just walk right in, right? In the country, and they're completely fine. Like Jasmina, European, yeah, welcome. Here's like 60 days. Is it 60 days or 90 days or whatever? I don't know. But it's still fairly decent, right? But for the rest of us like Canadians, you have to pay for your visa and then you gotta wait for approval. I've done this many times. The first 2 times, got my visa within 2 days, okay? Normally you can get it in, I think, 3 to 5 business days or 2 to 3 business days. I'm not quite sure, but the turnaround is fairly fast. Didn't get it this time because of the holiday. And because of that, we were in Laos longer than we had planned to be because we wanted to leave right away. And only
another thing I want to add to that is our visa in Laos was expiring too, so we had to get out of there first.
Yeah, within that time frame, we obviously needed to leave Laos, so we actually ended up staying in Thailand to get my visa approval. But yeah, ended up getting the visa approval. Now the downside is because there's that 1 week time frame, there's that gap. I applied for a 30-day visa, and apparently for a Vietnam visa, for example, another rule that they have is that your 30 days starts once you send in your application.
I did not know that.
Same here, because I thought your 30-day will start once you land in the country, but no.
And when they stamp it and everything.
And when they stamp it, but it's not. I only ended up having like
20 days or less, I
feel
like.
Not even 3 weeks because of it kind of got pushed out. So that was very, very unfortunate because we were planning on staying in Vietnam for about a month. We had all these plans, but we had to cut it short just just because my visa apparently started when I applied for it. So every country is very, very different. And I mean, like a lot of people will assume that if you book the flight, you're good to go, right? But every country has different rules, as I mentioned, visa requirements and standard procedures and all that stuff. It's very, very different. And showing up at the airport and realizing you're missing something is so damn stressful, okay? And sometimes it means you're not going anywhere at all. So you just threw your money away on flight you're denied to go on, and it's you don't want that because it's a crappy feeling. But this also becomes an issue between a couple really fast because one person usually assumed the other checks, so you're stuck in the last minute panic or pointing fingers at each other, which we didn't do, by the way.
Yeah, we never do that actually.
Yeah. But taking a few minutes to double check entry requirements for your passports can save you canceled flights, lost money, or unnecessary stress. It's not the fun part of planning, but it's definitely the most important one. When you handle this kind of stuff ahead of time, you know, you start the trip calm, confident, and actually very excited. That's exactly how travel is supposed to feel.
I remember actually when that happened, I feel like I was laughing more about it because I thought it was so. I actually made too much fun of him, I will admit.
Yeah, and as she was saying in the beginning, she feels very confident about my planning. Me too. I felt very, very confident. I've been to Vietnam twice. My visa application was smooth as butter. Like it was just 1 to 3 business days, the quick turnaround. I got my visa right away.
Next up is over planning and under planning. When you over plan, the trip starts to feel rushed. You're constantly watching the clock, jumping from place to place, and stressing about sticking to the schedule instead of actually enjoying where you are. It stops feeling like a vacation and starts feeling like a checklist. On the other hand, under planning can be just as frustrating. You waste time figuring out what to do, what to eat, argue about plans on the spot, or feel like you missed out on things you really wanted to see. That lack of structure can create unnecessary tension. Have a rough plan, maybe one attraction a day, and leave room for rest, spontaneity, and changing your mind, which in my opinion is very important. When you find that balance, the trip feels fun instead of forced, and you're able to enjoy each other and the experience a whole lot more.
Next one is not setting a daily budget. It can create unnecessary stress and spending during a trip. I mean, even before when I solo traveled, I had budgets because it's just an important aspect of traveling, especially if you're doing long-term travel. Now for short-term travel, like a week or so, maybe not so much, but yeah, having clarity around this is crucial no matter if you're traveling with someone or you're traveling on your own. And if you don't do this without a clear spending plan, one person might be enjoying the vacation and spending freely while the other is quietly worrying about the money. And that gap can turn small purchases into tension and make the rest of the trip feel very uncomfortable, So a simple daily budget helps set expectations. It gives both people a general idea of what feels reasonable to spend each day, and maybe even planning this prior to the trip and just adjust it accordingly.
Choosing accommodations without reading reviews is one of those mistakes that sound small but can affect your entire trip. The place you stay sets the tone for everything. If it's uncomfortable, noisy, unsafe, or not in a great location, it doesn't matter how good the destination is. Reviews usually tell you the stuff photos don't. Things like thin walls, bad service, surprising fees, or whether the location is actually convenient. Skipping that step can lead to a lot of "we should have checked this first" moments. And as a couple, that frustration tends to spill over. One person is annoyed about the place, the other is annoyed about having to deal with it. And suddenly you're arguing about something that could have been prevented. We had this experience happen once when we went to Lombok. The place didn't have any reviews and the location was completely wrong. The owner responded last minute to us. And the surroundings as well. We had literal goats as neighbors.
And cows.
Yeah. Taking a few extra minutes to read reviews can save stress, bad sleep, and unnecessary tension because where you stay matters way more than people realize.
Yeah, and I think if a place doesn't have any reviews or whatever, Like, sure, they might be new, but if they are not new and they don't have any reviews, that's kind of like a red flag automatically. We usually try to stay away from those places as much as possible, except for Lombok for some reason. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, everyone makes mistakes, you know, when you're traveling. Even if you're a seasoned traveler, it's bound to happen. But yeah, we try to stay away from just like no reviews and obviously bad reviews. And to add on to that, everyone has opinions, so you can get good and bad reviews. It's just everywhere. Even if the place, one person might experience it differently than the other. Even if the place is amazing, people will tend to, you know, take the time to say something about it. Negatively, of course, but that's obviously based on your judgment. If you see more positive reviews than negative, then obviously it's a good place, and vice versa. Next is, okay, everyone has different travel styles, and ignoring this could obviously cause problems. Some people want to go on from morning to night, while others want to take it slow, sleep in, and actually just, you know, relax. Luckily for Jasmina and I'd say we both have similar traveling styles, right? It's like a fine balance of being on the go and then taking it easy. Overall, I think we just prefer slow travel, right?
100%.
Problem starts when you act like your way is the right way and you expect your partner to just go along with it. And that's when the trip turns into a lot of sighing, rushing, or feeling dragged to things you don't care about. The goal isn't to travel the exact same way, it's to compromise and just meet in the middle. You could solve this by trading off activities, build in downtime maybe, or just be okay doing separate things sometimes. And to me, I feel like when you respect how your partner likes to travel, everything just feels so much easier and you actually enjoy the trip together much more instead of just surviving the trip. Either that or just find someone with the same travel style like you, which is probably rare.
Not communicating when something is wrong is one of the fastest ways tension builds on a trip. Traveling together sometimes makes everything more intense, like being tired, hungry, or out of your routine. When you don't say how you're feeling, it usually comes out in other ways like snapping, attitude, or random arguments that really don't make no sense. A lot of couples stay quiet because they don't want to ruin the trip, but the silence usually does more damage than the conversation actually would have. So small issues turn into big ones when they're ignored. Saying something early like needing a break, food, or a little space can change the entire mood. Clear communication keeps small problems small and helps you enjoy the trip instead of quietly counting down until it's over. Luckily, I say we've never had this type of issue. I mean, okay, I will be honest, when I do get a bit hungry, I do.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, me too. Like, we just tend to not talk.
Yeah, we get very quiet, so.
Very, very quiet. And yeah, like Jasmina said, we don't really have much arguments, although the video before this, the one that we made, we did make a video about the 12 things we argue about, so I'm gonna link that up above if you haven't seen that video just yet, but make sure you watch the video after this. Not sharing important documents with each other is a big mistake that usually doesn't matter until it actually really does. It seems like such a small matter, but trust me, always have the important documents saved on both of your phones and even on emails, I think.
Yeah, of course,
Okay, let's say that only one person has the flight info, hotel confirmations, passports, tickets, and all that. But what if the day comes that you forgot to charge your phone, then it dies on travel day, or maybe there's no signal, or you got separated? Then a small inconvenience turns into unnecessary stress really, really fast. It also puts all the pressure on one person to just keep track of everything, which can be very frustrating on a trip. Travel is just so much smoother when both people know where they're staying, how they're getting there, and what documents they might need. Now, sharing these copies of important documents digitally or physically takes a few minutes, and it can save you from panic, delays, and whatnot. It's honestly such a simple step, but it makes traveling together just feel more balanced and way less stressful.
Next is keeping scores on each other, and it shows up as things like, oh, I planned this, I paid for that, or we did what you wanted yesterday. Instead of enjoying the trip, you start mentally tracking who's done more, who's compromising more, and who owes who more. The problem is travel already takes effort from both people in different ways. When you start keeping score, it turns the trip into a competition instead of a shared experience. It works best when you approach it as a team, not as two people trying to stay even. Some days one person gives more, other days it balances out. Letting go of the scoreboard makes the trip lighter, easier, and way more enjoyable for the both of you.
Next is comparing your trip to social media and expecting it to feel romantic 24/7. It's definitely a fast way to get very, very disappointed. Now, social media tend to only show the highlights, the perfect photos, and the cute moments, and this goes for us too, and that's why we do YouTube as well, because we are able to show the lows and just the raw moments of our travels, whereas social platforms like Instagram or TikTok, it doesn't show the jet lag, the long walks, the missed transportation, or the silent arguments over where to eat. When you expect your trip to look and feel like that nonstop, real life can start to feel like a letdown. Travel has amazing moments for sure, but it also has boring, stressful, and awkward ones. That doesn't mean the trip is bad or the relationship is off or something. It just means, it's just life.
Yeah.
When you stop comparing and let the trip be what it is, then the good moments feel more genuine. Now, at the end of the day, traveling together isn't about having a perfect trip or avoiding every mistake. Jasmina and I believe it's a mixture of it all. It's about learning how to navigate to new places, new situations, and experiencing it all together. Highs, the lows, mistakes are gonna happen, trust me, but they don't have to ruin the experience. It all starts with communication and knowing you're on the same team. Travel can actually bring you closer. I know it brought us much closer and faster compared to, let's say, if we didn't travel.
Yeah.
If you are a couple who loves to travel, or if you're planning your next trip, let us know in the comments section down below which one of these mistakes you relate to the most. And if this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.